You see, while Haaland got those 16 points, very nice, and it was lovely to be able to cheer probably the best player in the game for once. Fantastic if you captained him. Those without Haaland, let's not forget they had players like Raya, Darwin, Diaby maybe even Wilson, maybe even Nketiah. They had players that Haalanders couldn't get to that did well. So I don't think the 16 points was that damaging. I think it was more or less a draw. So let's not be too carried away. But even so, it was nice to be able to cheer some Haaland points at once, of course. And we've got to admit, though, United were terrible. And although we've got him for the Bournemouth game next, and we're going to catch him for that, and I'm sure that people without Haaland are going to be worried about that. Are Bournemouth going to be worse than United? They were terrible. Absolutely terrible. Just rolled over second half. Hard to see how they're going to get a result with Fulham. Fulham are going to fancy that game week 11, I think. United fans are obviously very frustrated, not as frustrated as Chelsea fans. I had Palmer in that game, who in the number 10 role looked really useful. Set up chance after chance first half, but typically no one in that Chelsea team can make their chances. Jackson, absolutely woeful again. I'm going to have to hold Palmer because data was good, the eye test was good. Second half he faded, but I also think he could be playing the false nine again at Spurs. If you remember, he played there against Arsenal, did well, got the goal from the penalty, played well, probably man of the match for Chelsea. I don't think Jackson can start at Spurs. He was so abject, and there's no movement. They highlighted it in Match of the Day. It's just nothing there to cling on to in terms of progress at the moment from him. So I think Palmer will be false nine, Enzo will come back in, and Mudryk, if fit, will go wide. So I have to hold him. I have to look at the eye test and the data and hope that Chelsea come through the fixtures and he gets some points, because at 4.95 million he's probably still worth holding at the moment, particularly with Neto's injury. That looked bad. One of the most spectacular hamstring injuries in memory. It looked awful. Not sure how long he's going to be out for, but if you're holding, you're going to be selling going into game week 11, aren't you? We'll look at some of the potential replacements on Blackbox this week. Getting out of breath. Just dropped the kids off at school and walk into work. It's a nice morning. Halloween tonight. Lots of pumpkins out. Where was I? So the wild card was good. Okay. Got away with it. I avoided the classic getting more points with the old team than you did with the wild card, thanks to I think it was the Simicast return was the only major difference. Went Diaby, stuck with him because I feared that if I sold him the obvious result would be a return, and lo and behold that's what he did. Good to see that for once he was on the end of a pullback on that penalty spot. I think we talked about it on Blackbox about how he was occupying those areas. Watkins running, taking the defence with him and leaving space behind, and Lewis has been capitalising on it, but Diaby got some points this time, which is good to see. Don't know what to do with him long term, because I look at my team and only him and Trippier are really sellable in order to get some money, to get some freedom and flexibility. So I'm not sure what to do long term, but for now he's a hold, obviously. Good fixtures still. Let's just cross here. Yeah, so I'll hold him. It was Diaby or Matoma really, and Matoma and Adinga, both players that I had my eye on in the wild card over Diaby and Palmer. A bit disappointing really against Fulham. I think Anne said that Fulham are their bogey team. Looked that way. Fulham got the equaliser and frustrated them, and yeah, there wasn't much there that impressed me about the Brighton performance. And what worried me, of course, was João Pedro didn't turn up, which is typical of De Zerbi and what you could get if you back Brighton. I think Matoma and Adinga are safe, but you just never know with those European games and the rotation policy that he's got. So I'm at the park now. I don't normally come this way, but as I'm doing this, I thought I'd take in some more serene surroundings. I'm going to get my steps in doing this, that's for sure. Going to see if I can just get a coffee here success. I don't normally buy my coffee from there, but I get it free in Pret, got that membership thing, so this has cost me a few quid, so need some views just to get that little bit of ad revenue in if I'm going to do this all the time. What else is there to chat about? Salah, of course, very consistent again. I mean, you've got to look at it and think he's had 2 braces off the back of 10 men and a penalty, and then against Forest. I mean, I expected him to get something, but my word, we didn't half gift it to him, didn't we? I mean, just crazy the kind of variance that has gone his way. I mean, we all captained him, of course, over Haaland, and didn't turn out for the best that time. But there's no doubt that he's going to be a keeper for the foreseeable future. Not sure how those without Haaland are going to move off him. I presume that's what they're going to do to get to Haaland. But I guess there's AFCON coming up. I guess that's factoring into their decision there. But he'll be a hard sell if that's what you need to do to get to Haaland for 16. That's for sure. What else? Gabriel obviously didn't turn up for Arsenal, along with Odegaard, both on the bench. I kind of think, I mean, Neil did a great article on Scout on this, and Arteta said after the game that it was based, he didn't talk specifically about Gabriel, but I think he was talking about Odegaard, but he was talking about international minutes and the fact that he looked at the minutes that players have had over the recent run. I think Neil's article showed that Gabriel and Odegaard had played the most minutes they played 10 consecutive games, I think Gabriel had played, and I think it makes sense that it was down to that. I'm going to go with that anyway. I'm going to hold on to him for sure. I mean, yeah, I was one of those managers who had him at the start of the season, so he has been a curse. Got him back, and then what happened? Luckily, I had Tsimikas off the bench, which was where the wildcard came into play. I wouldn't have had that without the wildcard, so I got away with it. I'm not too concerned about Gabriel long term. I'm gonna hold him, but of course, Newcastle away, I'm probably going to bench him for that, and start Tsimikas, I think, at Luton. So he won't see action for me next week, but he's a hold for now until we know more. I guess we should talk about Nketiah. Most bought this week, I see. I'm a big Eddie fan. I always jump on him when there's opportunity, when Jesus gets the injury. I didn't this time because I wanted to keep with the 3-5-2 structure in the main, in the wild card. But, well, I mean, congrats to those who did. I'm looking at you, Praz, in particular. Hat-trick. I mean, I always knew he had it in him, and I always knew that could happen if you took a punt on Nketiah, particularly against opposition like Sheffield United, and he delivered. But long term, he's most bought. I don't think Jesus is out for that long. I mean, from what I'm reading, it's a matter of weeks, and I've had it with Eddie before. I remember he's going to Newcastle next. I remember I had him in the Newcastle game last season. I just don't think, while he could get something there, I guess, I just don't think long term he's someone that I'm going to move to, but he's definitely a hold. So I'm off to work now. It's almost 9 o'clock. I think I'm done with this one. Hope you liked it. I thought I'd do something different. I got a nifty new camera. I always wanted to do this kind of vlog stuff. It's either this or I was going to take on the graduates on TikTok. No one wants to see me dance, I don't think. Don't answer that. Yeah, so fun to do these. I mean, I dropped my daughter off about just before 8 some days, and so it means I've got a little bit of time before work. I can put some thoughts down on video for you, so I thought I'd do it. Hope you like it. Make your comments, give us some likes and subscribes, of course, and we're back with Blackbox proper Wednesday evening. Cold's better now, as you can probably detect. So see you with Az on Wednesday. See you later.